6 hours ago. You see this.
After its last installment, the Storm series is back with Storm Connections. This is the 7th Storm game released on consoles by CyberConnect 2 and Bandai Namco, and the one that promises to bring the series into the modern age of fighting games, complete with regular updates including a season pass. But does Connections change the formula significantly to call itself a brand new game?
Game looks beautiful, but like
content to
Jesus
justify the $60
Christ.
price tag, or is it just
I can just imagine that code's part terrible.
My name is Globku, and this is my review for Naruto Cross Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connection.
UI looks mid. It's just the same UI, but a little bit bigger. It's the exact same UI, honestly.
If you're a the Storm series and are looking for my quick take on this game,
Subs
I think this is
bigger.
closer to Generations 2 than it is to Storm 5. That is to say, the game makes some huge and significant changes to its combat system, but content-wise, you will find it somewhat lacking.
Apparently, like almost everything OTGs, you can combo off almost anything now.
Than ever before. Thing is, those numbers might look slightly less impressive once you realize that out of all those characters, only 10 of them are new to the series, and most stages are also returning from previous games.
All the same stages.
That said, everyone in the roster has received adjustments, which will impact every game mode the game has to offer. I currently have over 30 hours of playtime, all on PS5, where the game ran flawlessly at 4K 60 FPS, with the rare exceptions when too much was happening, or whenever Rock Lee lends his grab and the game turns into the Spider-Verse for some reason. We're gonna start this review by looking at the gameplay in general, then dive into its game modes, talk about the online, and close it out with a final
I just
score.
hope the netcode is good, bro. Like, we know it has no rollback, but like, bro, just like...
The gameplay of Storm Connections should feel very familiar to those that played Storm 4. The base systems are all the same, but the game received so many adjustments that it does feel very fresh indeed.
I forgot Delta is a new character.
Video to list them all, so we'll just talk about the most significant changes and how they affect the game itself. The first thing you will notice is that everyone has infinite combos now, where once a bug is now a feature. Don't worry, you still have 4 substitutions and can call assists while getting comboed. In fact, these old school infinites are really not that strong anymore because the game now has combo scaling. And as you start good. I was about to say that this game actually has combos now. Technically,
there's actual scaling now. Thank goodness.
This is the first time that it feels like the game
Thank goodness there's actually scaling now. Oh my god. You can't just get put in the infinite anymore and just lose all your damn health. There's scaling, so like if the combo's too long, it's just gonna start doing like no damage. Thank goodness.
Parts to a lot of the jutsu that
I was always wondering, why do Storm just not do a scaling system?
Launch you into the air, allowing you to follow up for free, and others can be cancelled with a block or a chakra dash, so you can chase down an opponent and pick the combo back up again. And speaking of jutsu, every character now has 2 of them instead of just 1. That second jutsu is what many characters had as their tilt back in Storm 4, but it being a jutsu now means you can cancel attacks into it and further expand your combo options. And not everyone got their tilt as their second jutsu. Some characters got an awakening action instead, and others have a brand new jutsu that just wasn't in the game before. A second jutsu also means a second assist for every single character, which increases the number of viable team combinations and doubles the utility of a character as an
Kashi
assist.
and Koji is a playable character.
Damn, I forgot. Chakra regeneration has been drastically increased, but defensively,
you regenerate chakra over time
and
now.
Can now counterattack for free. But this counter does have some recovery, and if you mistime it, you will be the one taking damage. Connections ends up being a faster paced game with bigger damage than its predecessor, but retains its core identity where neutral is king. Making sure your opponent runs out of substitutions before you do is more important than ever before because the damage potential
output is crazy now.
There is one more change that I think is very significant here,
chakra
and that is the addition of
combo
simple controls. Most of my time with Storm Connections has actually been playing with simple controls, both in single player as well as online. And I gotta say, after getting rid of my previous muscle memory, I really like it. With this control scheme, you can find a team ASAP. Assistance, so if you just
I'll probably try out all the new characters first though.
Actually chakra dash towards the opponent and start a combo, canceling with jutsu and even ultimate jutsu if they have the chakra. Basically, if you turn every assistance on, you literally mash circle to have the game be
it's like dynamic from Street Fighter
control scheme. But if
you can just press the attack button, it will just do everything for you.
Stuff off, I think it's actually viable even in a competitive setting. There are a few small things you can't do with simple controls. For instance, it's faster to charge chakra with classic controls because the way you do it on simple is by standing idle. And that small difference is sometimes enough to not have enough chakra to continue the combo.
You gotta stand still just to charge your on
90% of the way there. And because it requires less button inputs to do most actions, my reaction time has actually improved drastically. I think the optimal way of playing will still be classic controls, but these don't really feel that simple.
Yeah, I'm not gonna use it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not
feel
going to
like
use it. I have
a
no
nice
interest in using
alternate
it.
control scheme that's aimed at new players in the Storm series, but not necessarily aimed at beginners. You
Yeah,
can
look at this
definitely get
combo.
good by playing with this scheme. Overall, Connections makes great changes to its core gameplay systems. CC2 also fixed a lot of bugs that were present in Storm 4. Didn't catch all of them, but caught a lot. And that's a really good sign that they're listening and willing to fix things this time around. That said, a lot of these changes feel like they could fit.
It's funny because this is basically a 4.5 since it's like not a mainline game, it's a sideline game.
So let's see
like
if Generations
Generations.
it with some game modes.
Uh-oh, here we go.
The first mode the game greets you with is History Mode. This is, and I do not say this lightly, the worst game mode that Cyberpunk ever created. It's absolutely worthless. You go through the Naruto story from the first
really,
Storm
game? Yes, it is, because it's not Storm 5. It's not Storm 3, it's not Storm 4, it's not Storm 5. It's like Generations. They usually do one half game in between.
More slideshow, rinse and repeat.
Oh, hell no.
Cutscene, but all of them are taken straight out of the previous games. Here's a quick comparison with Storm 2 side by side, which I guess
does look better.
The difference in graphics. And I guess you can see they changed the button prompts, but other than that, it is the same exact fight, frame by frame.
Oh,
the one exception to this is that they added an Ashura versus Indra fight.
They're just all slideshows.
But it's just a normal battle, unfortunately. And they remade the Shukaku fight from the first Storm instead of just upgrading the graphics.
Oh,
if
good, because that fight was old.
Followed the example of this boss fight, maybe it would be better. Also, they made a cutscene for when you start this game mode and another one for when you finish it that seem incredibly low quality, like they were pre-rendered at 720p, which contrasts really poorly with the 4K graphics.
Are you surprised that Storm was gonna be different?
Played the previous Storm games, I think this mode stripped a lot of the cool encounters and features that those games had, like the free roaming and the missions where you beat hordes of enemies. It's almost like the worst of both worlds. The one cool thing
I didn't think the history mode would be bad though. That's crazy.
Everyone now has a second jutsu that also applies to story-only characters, like these giants that you control. That's neat, cool. But unfortunately, it doesn't change the gameplay significantly. The whole thing took me about 3 hours to finish, though I did skip a lot of the slideshows, and another hour or so if you want to be a completionist, getting all the S ranks and bonus objectives, which I used
to play the hell out of KCM Naruto.
They did was add reactions to the end of each encounter,
that version
as well
of
as a
Naruto's so
question
fun.
at the end of each chapter, and you can see how other players answered or reacted. This would be a neat feature if the rest of the game mode was good, like a cherry on top
like those
of the cake, but
Telltale
as it
games.
is, it holds very little value.
Damn. The QTEs and other games actually matter if you lost them.
Fortunately, the same cannot be said for the special story mode. With Boruto as the main protagonist, this is an original story that got the traditional CC2 treatment that you love to see in Naruto games. In-game dialogue, unique encounters, and gorgeous cutscenes. Although some of these also seem pre-rendered for some reason, but not as bad as the ones in history mode. And I think overall, it's very good as far as filler goes. I think there's a very well-written character in Nanashi, and the villain, on the other hand, felt a bit more generic. This character claims to have inherited the Will of Pain and wants to throw the world into the 5th Ninja World War. Somehow connected to this, there's a new VR game that's very popular amongst Boruto and friends, but they all feel very tired after playing it. And one day out on a mission, Team 7 finds a destroyed forest, and a nearby village claims it was destroyed by a Susanoo. All of this is connected and will make sense in the end. Sometimes they're connected in predictable ways, and sometimes in quite clever and creative ways that also include some awesome plot twists and character reveals that fans will probably love. That's not to say the story is flawless. The mysterious Uchiha that's causing trouble is an overdone trope in my opinion. As well
mysterious
as
Uchiha causing trouble.
Because designing new villains with
they do that so many times though. It's actually ridiculous.
Cool boss encounters. It's not all unique.
They did it at the start of Boruto. Remember that one guy that
inside the VR game where you
I remember his name. That dude was so unimportant.
But during an entire chapter,
they did it at the start of Boruto. Remember that Shin? Yeah, Shin Uchiha. Why do they keep doing that?
If you didn't have a whole history mode that is dedicated to this. At least this time it's done from Boruto's perspective, which offers something different, but perhaps not different enough. There's also no free roaming this time around, which disappoints some fans. But I would say this mode is definitely worth it.
No free roam is crazy.
About 6 hours total, and the story definitely wants to make
it's a 6-hour story? That's free.
I've gotten a little teary-eyed at some point, so
that's pretty free.
I guess it worked.
That's a one-stream story. That's actually pretty good for me because I could probably just beat it all in one stream.
Now, Storm usually has a few
if I feel like playing the next stream
modes, and for the most part,
I'm probably gonna check out all the new characters first. Well, I don't know. Wait, which one do you want to see first? The story first or online? Next stream. Well, I mean, I would do it this stream, but we don't get to play till tomorrow. Showcases. Screw the story. I want to see some hands. Yeah, if I feel like that might be the play. Just whenever I'm like burnt out or not burnt out, whenever like my hands are tired of playing online, I'll just play story.
series, there's a tutorial that
that's
you
might
how
be
to
to play
the
online.
game. It's a really good one. In free battle, you'll find the usual survival, tournament,
There's an
league
actual
battles,
tutorial
versus
now?
battle, and training. All of these have the features that you're used to from the previous games.
Hold
They
on.
were pretty much just
It
ported.
seems there's an actual
For the first
tutorial
time in
now.
the Storm series, there's a tutorial
Yeah,
that teaches you
that's
how to play the
crazy.
game, and it's a really good one.
I was
In free battle,
always
you'll find the
wondering, why
usual
does this
survival,
game not do any tutorials? Like, they just don't.
tournaments, league battles versus
I mean, the
battle
game
and
is still
training.
really
All of
easy,
these
but,
have the
like,
features that you're
they still
used to
just-
from the previous games.
even
They
for
were
people that
pretty
are just
much
new to
ported
gaming, they
over to
just,
this one.
like,
in fact, practice mode is
still
better
be a
than
tutorial.
ever simply because they added damage numbers now, which is definitely appreciated.
Oh,
in
nice.
practicing
There's
combos
damage
for a new
numbers.
character. You also have
Nice.
a
That's pretty
menu
good.
dedicated to the
Some
collection,
gospel.
which is where you'll find every little unlockable this game has. Most of it can simply be bought with in-game money that you earn while doing everything.
That's
But you
fun.
might also unlock some of these by completing optional objectives in story modes, and it is impressive the amount of stuff that exists here. Outside this
cool.
menu, you'll also find a list of character levels that goes up the more you play them, and each one of them can unlock more customization
Oh, that's
options.
nice. That's
and
pretty
a
cool.
really impressive encyclopedia with information for
this?
every single character,
Link
jutsu,
function.
and events that happened in Naruto. I'm not kidding. This encyclopedia is seriously impressive. I'm just not sure if the player base is necessarily looking for something like this in Storm
Yeah, the
Connection.
player base doesn't care though. It's cool, but the player base would not care.
Many of you are here for the online though.
Yes.
After all, that's all that's left to do once you have completed the single player mode.
There's nothing else to
the
do.
first impression for online isn't great. You can keep
Oh,
a rank
come
of casual matches,
on.
finding random opponents out there in the world, and you can rematch up to 3 times in ranked or infinitely
3 times?
in casuals.
Okay.
So far so good, but then that's it. There are no other game modes, which also means there is no way
There's
to invite
nothing
friends
else
into
to do
battle.
after
this
that,
is,
damn.
simply put, unacceptable. It's bad enough that we have to fight for spectator modes and other basic features every
I
time
mean-
a new anime game comes out. If we're also gonna have to fight for something
Like,
as simple as inviting friends
I
to
don't
play
know.
with, it feels like we're moving backwards. I cannot overstate.
I'm probably gonna play
how
half
bad
of this
is,
tomorrow and half
but
of the
we need
uni
to
beta
talk about
tomorrow.
some of the good stuff that the online.
I wanna
has,
at least
because
try out
with
the
that
uni
aside,
beta.
I have
The Under
very
Night
good
Ember
news
beta.
netcode-wise. I just had.
Oh,
one
I
of the
gotta
best
install it now that I think
experiences
about
I've
it. Wait, what time does the Under Night Ember beta start? Because it starts tomorrow as well, when this game drops. Like, I don't. Someone
ever
look
had
that up
with
if you
Arena
can.
Fighters. This is on par, if not better, than the My Hero 1's Justice netcode. I've run tests with folks from Europe and folks from America, including Afro Senju, who lives all the way in Miami. We played for well over an hour in a Portugal to Miami connection, and it felt like a stable 5-frame delay, which is to
5
say,
frames?
you can feel the delay for sure, but it's consistent
yeah, you
and
can
not too
definitely
bad.
feel that.
Now, I will also say that I have praised netcodes
Bro, when
before,
Fighters
and then
is
the
on
game comes
3,
out,
I
the
feel
servers
it,
get
like-
flooded with players, and the wonderful netcode is suddenly horrible.
Okay, I'm
There's
just
no
not gonna
guessing
play
what
anyone
will
that's from
happen once
EU
the
or
game
something.
actually releases, so if you want my
If
final
it's
thoughts on the
5
netcode,
on E, but these dudes have good internet since they're both YouTubers. Yeah, I don't know. It drops at 5 p.m. in PST. The uni beta. That's 8 for me. Okay, well, that uni beta drops at 8. Storm Connections opens at 6 p.m. for me. So I'll just play. I'll start with Storm, obviously.
you're gonna have to wait a few days after release. The truth is, they could open the servers on launch day, and the game could look like this.
Oh,
This is what
hell
happened during
no.
a full day of testing, where I was playing someone from Hungary.
I hope there's
and
a
we
day
just could
1
not
patch.
play
There's
each other.
no way there's no day 1 patch, right?
This is in the same region, so it should not be a problem.
There's no
And
way
it
there's no
wasn't
day 1
in
patch.
Any other day, we actually had some very good matches, but in this one specific day, it was impossible. So I've seen Storm Connections be the best netcode an Arena Fighter has ever had, and I've seen it be the worst
What the
netcode
f-
too. I hope this good
Oh,
side
no,
stays
bro,
once the
lead
game
us in the
launches, and
past.
not this awful side. We also
I haven't
tested
seen that
rage
type of
quitting
lag
during
since
a ranked
Storm
match,
4.
and once we came back to the game, we got no message saying that quits would be punished, so I'm not sure if there are any repercussions for quitters, but the game certainly doesn't message you about them.
Oh,
Before you
no.
enter matchmaking, you
Oh,
can set some
no.
filters if you
Rage
only wanna
quitter
play
stocks are
against people
up.
within the same region. There are no filters for connection
Frame
quality,
rate
which
any.
is unfortunate since you cannot
Okay.
leave a match
Frame
after
filter.
you find an opponent. And
There
you can
shouldn't
also
even
set
need to be a
preference
frame
play
filter.
only in 60 FPS, which would mean that you
Oh, you can
only
actually play
against
ranked in
other
60,
PlayStation
nice.
5 players in this example, since the game runs at 30 FPS on PS4. If you find a PS4 player online, your game will also go down
Runs
to
in
30 FPS,
30
which
at
might be a
PS4?
sacrifice you're willing to make in order to play with a bigger player base. That is completely up to you. Before you join matchmaking,
Jesus,
you must
at least you
also
can play
choose your
ranked in
team and
60,
stage, which
unlike
is
Kino
nice
Kami
to limit the time
Chronicles.
that it takes to start a ranked match. And while waiting for an opponent, you can wait in practice mode
Nice.
or in free battle, which
Nice.
is also a welcome addition.
Nice. If they took that away, that'd be stupid.
I find the presentation of this game to be somewhat
Hey, PS4 has to play in 30
part,
FPS. Good luck.
At 4K 60 FPS. And even ignoring the blurry cutscenes that we talked about in history mode, some ultimates have this weird color scheme, like every color just becomes flat. Something that maybe I'll get used to, but for now it's just jarring. Customization is a big selling point this time around. You can equip items you've unlocked in the collection on your characters, and that is how they will play in offline as well as online game modes. Customization goes even beyond this. You're able to customize what your online game mode looks like by changing the background, the character, as well as the usual messages and
seems like they put more emphasis on customization and gallery and stuff more than they did the game.
Japanese, which I'm sure is a big deal for those that grew up watching Naruto in their native tongue. And I'm gonna end this review with a chapter that I call The Promise. Now, this will not be taken into account when scoring this game, and to be honest, you can just wait and not buy the game to see if the promise gets fulfilled. But they have said that custom matchmaking will be added post-launch, so there will be a way to invite friends.
Yeah, DBFZ said we'd get rollback.
A couple of months down the line, and if the netcode stays this good, once you can invite friends,
I'm done trusting devs.
Recommend. I do hope that
I'm done trusting devs.
Full lobbies, including spectator slots and all that good stuff that we need to run events.
Especially if Bandai's
connections goes beyond that. They're selling you a season pass and DLC characters, so it's expected that there will be balance patches and future updates fixing even more bugs. This is a Storm game that
MK crossplay, they literally just straight up lied.
That popularized an entire genre. But promises aren't in the game yet, so we'll have to wait and see.
Verdict.
With all that said, it's time to score this game, and if you're new here, we use letters for our review scores from F, which is a bad game, all the way to A,
I'd say this is part of C or B.
This is my review for Naruto
part of C. Part of C. You gave it a D? Oh my god. It's doomed.
Simply put, Storm Connections is lacking content. The special
story
is good,
no.
But not exactly
It's worse than I thought.
Justifies the full price tag. Only 10 new
maybe I was being generous. I didn't get to play the game, so I'm assuming maybe it's a C.
Is simply unacceptable. However,
unacceptable. What the?
And this netcode stays this good post-launch. This is still an easy recommendation for me. Once you're able to invite friends, of course. This is one of those games that I would probably advise most people to wait before buying to see if those promises come true, and so they can see how good the post-launch support is. I think launching like this will definitely hurt their sales a lot, but down the line, Connections has the potential to become the best Storm game ever released. Unfortunately, it's just not there yet. And that's my review for Storm Connections. I think this is one of those reviews that we'll definitely have to revisit at some point in the future, because right now, the game feels incomplete. But if you've had the chance to play it, let me know what you think of it in the comments down below.
I'm a generous person with my reviews.
Review for My Hero Ultra Rumble. Thanks for watching. Boy.
If he's saying it's a D, bro, I'm probably gonna be angry. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. A D with Globku gas in it too? That's bad. That's bad, bro. That's bad. Oh no. Oh god, okay. I mean, I'm gonna still try the game, but like, god damn. A D, bro? What the f... I mean, I already knew it was bad because you can't even invite your friends, but... It's worse than I thought, maybe. Oh, I wanted to look at the Mario review. I forgot. How long is the Mario review? It's 8 minutes. We're fine. We can look at this real quick. Damn, bro. That's bad, man. That's bad. That's bad, bro. That's pretty bad. Why do they charge us $60 if it's, or 70 or what is it, 60? Why do they charge us 60 if it's like a half game? It's not even mainline. It's like Generations. It's not mainline story. It's not Storm 5. So why do they charge 60? They should be charging at max 20 bucks. At max. Oh no, bro. It's doomed. Where is Budokai, bro? Save me. Save me from these arena fighters, bro. Holy hell.